let's start here with Notre Dame and Miami. Number 6, Notre Dame at number 10, Miami. Massive game, 7:30 p.m. ABC. Talk about bad blood. These two don't like each other. Notre Dame right now a 2.5-point favorite. That surprised me a little bit. Now, I don't know why. Sometimes in my mind, I forget Notre Dame played in the national championship last year. I don't know why that slips my mind, but people also forget they lost to Northern Illinois last year, and I'm not gonna stop bringing
Yeah,
that up because
yeah,
they literally got a free pass,
pretty
but,
interesting.
I mean, that's how Notre Dame rolls. So, and Miami, of course, lost to some teams they shouldn't, and the Syracuse loss keeping them out of the playoff, etcetera, but I am really excited for this game. Like, this game, I think it has a chance to be electric.
Mhm.
We've seen Mario Cristobal and others, talking about the crowd and the sellout, wear your orange, all this stuff. Like, I think the environment is going to be electric. And Notre Dame's out here starting a redshirt freshman in CJ Carr,
Yeah.
who's never been in this type of situation. So I think that's very interesting there, Matt.
Yeah, it is, and it's gonna be really exciting, just to see just the magnitude of the game, the history of the game. I mean, there's so many
Oh, yeah.
awesome battles between these 2. Mario Cristobal been a part of, some of those back in the day, and so I'm ecstatic. I'm ecstatic we're gonna be there as well. So the Huddle's gonna show up. It's a huge game, a huge start, top 10 matchup, and man, what an opportunity for the Hurricanes, to come out here and to really prove who they are, what they wanna be for this entire season, and, I think that it's another great opportunity because the defense was so disappointing last year.
Yeah.
And if you're not drastically improved in the areas you need to, you will get exposed game one. And that's stopping the run, and that's tackling people in space. That's aligning properly. That's executing the play that's called. And I'm excited to see that. Coach Heatherman comes in, defensive coordinator from Minnesota, did a really good job with Minnesota last year, stopping the run, shutting it down, being a top, whatever defense and doing that. And the biggest thing for me is just get these guys lined up looking at the ball when it snapped. Like there were so many instances
Yeah.
last year where Miami just wasn't set, wasn't ready because of whatever communication issues or changing the play or whatever. And at the end of the day, you have Ruben Bain, you have Keem Mesidor, you have OJ Frederique, you have all these guys that are really, really good. Justin, I mean, I could go on and on about the personnel that they have here. Just let them play. Call base. Let's go. Like, are we better than you? At the end of the day, that's what you want in a quick situation here. So I'm excited to see that, and it's going to be a tall task. Now it's not going to be easy. This is a very good, elite offensive line for Notre Dame. This is one of, if not the best running back tandem in all of college football. Jeremiah Love is a freak. Like the things that he did specifically in the playoff and in those
Mhm.
games for the national
He
championship
carried
run,
them.
literally carried him on one leg at times. Like
Yeah,
this dude
yeah.
had a hurt leg and he's still jumping over people, Space Jam dive for the end zone. Like he's a great player, and you better bring your lunch when you're trying to tackle this guy. So I'm excited to see just how this game goes. I think it's going to be a rock fight. I think you're looking at 2 elite offensive lines, 2 good, solid defensive lines. Line of scrimmage wise is going to be really fun. And so is the X factor is the way you lean because we think one quarterback is going to
Mhm.
be significantly better than the other. But if you don't need the quarterback and you can't stop the run, it doesn't matter. So the defense of Miami is going to have to step up and play their part.
That's a great point, Mac. I see this game very similarly. I think it is a rock fight in the
Yes.
trenches type of game with 2 really good O lines, 2 very solid D lines, and 2 teams that want to run the ball. We know Mario Cristobal wants to run the ball. And of course, the difference is you've got this redshirt freshman in CJ Carr, and you've got this veteran, highly touted NFL prospect, thought he'd be the number 1 overall pick last year, quarterback for Miami. Of
Right.
course, in a brand new system and figuring those things out. But could that be the difference maker? But to your point with running the ball, you have Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price as well. This is the best running back duo or tandem in college football. I don't think there's any doubt there. So it takes a lot of pressure off of your freshman quarterback. And Miami, as many issues as they had last year, right, Mac? They still were pretty good against the run. They only
Mhm.
gave up 112 yards per game rushing. They were top 20 there. So, I mean, we know who's on that D line. If that can stay solid and the
Right.
secondary can be better because they were really bad against the pass, and maybe you're not as worried about that with CJ
Mhm.
Carr. That gives you kind of, I think, some good momentum if you're Miami defensively. But the big question is that defense in a lot of ways. I think the offense is going to be fine.
Right.
I think the offense is maybe more intriguing. Like, what does Carson Beck look like? But
Mhm.
we know the defense was the problem last year. And you
Yeah.
have to force this Notre Dame team to pass the ball. Because, like you
Right.
said, Mac, if they run all over you, that they're going to control the clock, they're going to control the crowd. That's going to be a real problem.
Yeah, it will be. And, not to say that Carr can't. We'll see. We're going to all be
We don't
learning
know.
at the same time. But when you've seen the passing attack from Notre Dame in the last handful of years, I don't think it terrifies anybody. I don't think it's
Yeah.
ever been like, oh, better back up. These guys
And
are
it's
going to
very
be a
different
problem
for
here.
them to not have Riley Leonard. Like, Riley Leonard was
Correct.
so good with his legs. He was such a
Correct.
veteran presence. This is a
Yes,
different situation.
it is. And it was a huge piece of that puzzle last year. I mean, he did a lot for them, scored a
Yeah.
lot of touchdowns, was a huge piece. And so, you talk about that. Do we load up the box if we're, Miami? Do we literally dare them to
I
throw and
think you
say,
do.
our athletes are better than yours? They're going to be on them man to man. Let's see what you can do. I agree. I think so as well. And, you went in the portal and got Jacoby Thomas, who is a hitter at the safety position. He's going to have a big day. If everybody's kind of holding the front, it's one-on-one, you versus
Right.
Love in the hole, you got to get him down. You got to wrap up and wait till your brothers can get there at least and be ready to really go there. So I'm excited to see that attack. I'm also excited to see Ruben Bain and Keem Mesidor. Like, is this – because they both have been really highly touted, and Bain's never really wavered. Like, he's always been steady
Mhm.
as a
Just had some injuries.
highly touted prospect, had a couple injuries. Keem, like, came in and then because of injuries, like, disappeared. And I think people have probably forgotten about how good he was at West Virginia, and that's going to be
Mhm.
back. He looked tremendous when we were at camp, and just his body, how excited he is for this opportunity. Those two guys can have massive days. And listen, Ruben Bain gets it. You got to stop the run to earn the right to rush the passer, and that's going to be a huge deal here as well. Um, I don't know why I started on the defensive side of the ball for Miami. It makes me a little sick.
Because that was the problem.
It was
I
the
mean,
problem, and it could be a problem here.
yeah.
But let's move to the offensive side, KG, because I think there's some exciting things there as well. And I was talking with Aaron Murray, who's a Georgia guy, about Carson,
Mhm.
and his biggest thing was Carson tried to be Superman. Carson tried to force the issue. Carson tried to do this and that, and that's why he made all those mistakes a year ago. And my rebuttal to that was Georgia could not run the ball effectively. Georgia could not protect him a year ago. That is not going to be the case this year. It's like the anti of that. It is the complete opposite. This offensive line is massive. This offensive line is loaded. I mean, you're talking about a top 4 pick in Francis Maui-Noa on the right side, and then a 6'9" basketball center, Mark Bell, on the other side. Like, they are huge and going to do a great job for him. They have a loaded backfield. I mean, you're talking about potentially 4 guys. The headliner, of course, Mark Fletcher.
Mhm.
They're going to run the ball. And so to me, that should be so much more freeing for Carson Beck that I just have to manage this offense. I just have to hand it off when I'm supposed to, hit my reads, 1, 2, 3, check down. I don't have to force anything. I don't have to make these unbelievable plays and throws and tight window things. Now, you can if you want to, but he doesn't have to for them to win. And that's what I'm excited to see if that holds true. And these young receivers like JoJo Trader has had a really good camp. I've heard a ton of things from him. Can CJ Daniels take the next step and be that guy that maybe LSU fans thought he was going to be, which that's a loaded room. Malachi Tony, everybody's excited. How
Mhm.
often and big is his plate for this team? So I'm pretty thrilled about what I think this offense is going to look like. And it might not be as sexy or as explosive or any of these things as a year ago, but I do think it's going to be more efficient, and I do think it's going to run smoother, which will be interesting to see.
It's not gonna be as explosive as last year. I think that's fair to say, and that's fine, especially if your defense is a lot better, which is what Miami, we all think it's gonna be better. It has to be better. But I agree with you, Mac. I think if Carson Beck can manage this offense and then still make some plays as he gets comfortable with some of these new weapons at wide receiver, they're gonna run the ball, to your point. That seems like a really good mix for Carson Beck. And when we've had Mario Cristobal on, we had him on for our season preview. Go listen to that if you missed it. He was really confident in Beck, his approach to the game, how he's won over the locker room, just all these types of things. And that confidence was really interesting to me. I mean, he was very confident about Cam Ward last year, and that obviously worked out. But I think Carson Beck's gonna be just fine, and I feel better if you're looking at this game, if you're a Notre Dame fan, yeah, you've got those running backs. You've got that really good secondary, which I think that's gonna be a good battle with them and
Yeah.
Carson Beck. But you got this brand new young guy, and then on the other side, you've got a veteran in Beck. So when you look at this number, Mac, Notre Dame minus 2.5.
Yeah.
They're favored because they're Notre Dame. They played for the national title last year. And Notre Dame's been better in these big games, you could say, especially under Marcus Freeman. Like, that's
Right.
been a huge
Yeah.
switch from Brian Kelly in terms of how they perform under the lights. That being said, I think you and I are both leaning Miami plus 2.5. Am I right?
Yeah. No, I don't think there's any question about that. But I am interested if it is tight and if there's some decisions that have to be
Sure.
made, who makes the better one? Marcus Freeman has proven that. Like in
Yeah.
the playoff, he was masterclass on
Hmm.
how to handle situations, when to call timeouts, when to run XYZ trick plays. He showed that he is a fantastic game time decision managerial guy. And obviously the lulls and the mistakes that we've seen from Miami. So if that happens, who steps up,
That's a
who
good
makes the
point.
right one, that advantage probably to Notre Dame right now. But we'll see. We'll see if it's even close to that. I'm thinking maybe it's not. I think that Miami's going to do their thing. I think this offense is going to be really improved. I think the defense does enough, and I just don't know if Notre Dame has enough firepower. We'll see. Maybe they do. Maybe this young cat is electric, and Notre Dame goes on to continue to do what they do. But I just think there's more proven commodity with Carson Beck. I think the revenge tour is for real. And I think he's out to prove that he is that guy. And I think Miami has back-to-back first-round quarterbacks.
Dang. Well, I think it is a little bit lower scoring. I think it is, especially first half, like grittier, teams feeling each other out, a lot of running
Yeah,
the football. And then Miami's able to do a bit more in the second half. But
yeah. It's a
we
good
will see.
point. It's a good
Can't
point.
wait.